From stories across the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Nitya De Oliveira.
A very good evening indeed. I am Charita Minipurarachi, and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
The Dorin Dorata Kapruka National Program to plant 4 million coconut saplings begins. The government reiterates that no decision has been taken to withdraw the ban imposed on importing chemical fertilizers and insecticides. A revised guidelines on health is to be implemented from today. The World Health Organization reiterates that there is no decline in the corona pandemic. The Minister of Mass Media says that all media institutions must obey the laws of the country. The new Kalani Bridge constructions across the Kalani River have been completed. World oil prices continues to escalate.
Now, in your top story this evening, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa inaugurated the national program to plant 4 million coconut saplings today. The theme of the program is Dorin Dorata Kapruka. The national program to plant 4 million coconut saplings was held at the Valiketi Estate, Bujampola, Dankotua. The President planted a coconut sapling at the Valiketi Estate to mark the inauguration of the national program. The program is expected to enhance the annual coconut crop to 3,600 million nuts per year from the current level of 2,800 million nuts. To achieve this goal, the Ministry of Plantation, the State Ministry of Coconut, Kittul, Palmyra and Rubber Product Promotion and Allied Industrial Production and Export Diversification and the Coconut Cultivation Board are currently organizing the Dorin Dorata Kapruka National Program. For a long time, Sri Lanka's name has been at the forefront of the international market for its traditional exports of tea, rubber and coconut. The national policy framework Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor focused on the promotion of coconut cultivation and related products to secure that position in the future as well. It is expected to achieve the target of planting 4 million coconut saplings within the next year, and in view of that, 1 million coconut saplings will be given to Samurdhi recipients and another 2 million will be distributed under a subsidiary scheme, and the remaining 1 million can be purchased by anyone who wishes to cultivate. President Rajapaksa also inspected the organic fertilizer production methods suitable for coconut cultivation, machinery, soil rehabilitation works aimed at increasing the productivity of existing coconut lands, water using methods, intercropping, model seed coconut nursery, Coconut Pests and Diseases Institute, exhibition stalls of Kapruka Society members and the coconut plantations in the fallow paddy fields. The President then visited the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla, and inspected the coconut products and coconut milk-based new productions as well at the advisory unit. The President also symbolically distributed coconut saplings and agriculture equipment to 15 beneficiaries at a ceremony organized at the Coconut Research Institute premises in parallel to the program. Chairman of the Chilao Plantations Limited, Jude Pereira, handed over 10 million rupees from the company's profits earned in 2020 to the President to be deposited to the Treasury. Minister Ramesh Pathiran and State Ministers Arundhika Fernando, Sanat Nishanta, Priyanka Rajayaratna, MPs Ashoka Priyantha, Chintaka Mayaduna, secretaries to the ministries and officials of line agencies were also present.
And on the same note, coconut sapling planting programs have been conducted in parallel to the Dorin Dorata Kapruka National Program throughout the island today. One such coconut plant distribution program was conducted at the Sri Janodaya Mahapirivan Viharasthana in Talava, Anuradhapura under the direction of Minister S.M. Chandrasena. Vaunia District Secretary S. Saman Bandulasena has presided over a coconut sapling planting program in Semamadu in Vaunia. Another program to enlighten the general public on the distribution of coconut plants and coconut cultivation has taken place in Alubodhara in Avisavela today. Parliamentarian Vijayadas Rajapaksa has presided over the event. The Hambantota District Coconut Sapling Planting Program was conducted under the leadership of Minister Chamal Rajapaksa. The minister has handed over coconut plants as well as checks on relief aid to the relevant groups at the Pradesh Sabha premises today. Minister Vimal Veeravansha has presided over a coconut planting program organized by Kaduvila Division Secretariat Division Office. Similar coconut planting ceremonies were conducted in Polonnaruwa, Mathirigiriya, Minneriya and Nugavela in Kandy with the participation of state ministers and parliamentarians. Such programs have also been conducted in Alava, Hiriyala, Panadura, Kottava and Kandy as well as in Peliyandala, Gampaha with the attendance of ministers, state ministers, parliamentarians and other people's representatives.
Now, the Department of Government Information in a media release says that no decision has been taken to withdraw the ban imposed on importation of chemical fertilizer and insecticides. Presidential media spokesman Kingsley Ratnaika has also issued a Twitter message reiterating that reports appeared in social media regarding a government decision to import chemical fertilizer is completely false. Certain websites and social media reported that the new Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa has changed a decision taken by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to ban the importation of chemical fertilizer and insecticides with the objective of building a green economic order. The Department of Government Information, firmly denying the social media reports, further says that the government has decided to prohibit importing of chemical fertilizer and insecticides based on the Saubhagya Dakma policy statement presented to the people prior to the presidential election. The MPs and ministers have discussed the new government's present and future courses of action upon the new finance minister assuming duties. Accordingly, 5 subcommittees have been appointed to plan the most accurate action after a balanced evaluation of opinions, arguments and counter-arguments expressed by numerous groups. Director General of Government Information Mohan Samaranayake in his communique has stressed that no proposals have been presented at the talks to alter the government's green economic program.
And meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology forecast of heavy rains above 100 millimeters in several locations in the Sabaragamu province and also in the districts of Kandy, Nura Eliya, Gol and Bathura today. The reason being the activation of the southwest monsoon. The meteorology reports adds that strong winds are anticipated in the shallow and deep sea areas around the island along with the showers. Meanwhile, the National Building Research Organization has released earth slip warnings for several districts. It has also been reported that 1,403 families in 6 districts have been affected by rain and strong winds. The highest rainfall for yesterday of 169 millimeters has been reported from Duvili Alla in the Galle district. Floods have occurred in Alapada Divisional Secretariat Division yesterday in Ratnapura due to incessant rains lashing in Ratnapura since yesterday. Our correspondent says many homes and roads have been inundated. The water level of the Kaluganga is also reported to be increasing. Soil mounds have fallen on the path between Botavala and Kitulgala on the Hatton-Colombo road as a result of heavy rainfall and severe winds in western slopes of the Central Highlands since yesterday. The vehicle transport has come to a standstill. The heavy rainfall in the Kandy district has prompted to open 5 sluice gate at the Polgola Reservoir at dawn today. Engineer Atula Pushpakumara says that all gates have now released a water flow of 32,000 cubic feet in a second. Television cameras have captured the following scenes as how trees were fallen due to powerful winds blew across Gampaha district last night. The National Building Research Organization has released warnings on earth slips in the districts of Colombo, Gol, Kalutara, Kandy, Kegol, Mathura, Nuvarelia and Ratnapura districts as a result of the heavy downpours in the past 24 hours. 2 3-wheelers parked in the Panadura Base Hospital premises were damaged with a tree fell on them during strong winds last night. A heavy soil boulder was obstructed vehicle transport in the Maskeliya-Nallathani main road, which was triggered by heavy rain lashing on the feeding locations of the Maskeliya-Mausa-Kale. Our correspondent adds that many houses in low-lying areas in Avisavela have come underwater due to flowing of the Sitavaka river. Residents in Hiniduma were subjected to severe difficulties due to floods caused by overflowing of the Ging River. 6 low-lying areas, roads and by-roads in the Nelluwa Gramaradhari division have come underwater due to heavy rain in the upper catchment areas of the Ging River. Further rainfall may lead to a minor flood situation. Therefore, the Nelluwa Disaster Management Unit has informed the people living in the low-level areas along the Ging River to remain vigilant. 3 sluice gates in the Kukuleganga Reservoir have also been reopened, allowing the release of 320 cubic meters of water per second. A rise in the water level of the Kukuleganga has led to an inundation in Paragoda at the Bulat Sinhala Molkava main road. The life-saving groups of the Sri Lanka Army are engaging in disaster relief operations. The lashing rain since last night has caused the breakdown of a portion of a bridge leading to several villages including Pallekumbura in Jatiyanthota. The peoples most affected by the incident are the villages of Ihala Pallekumbura, Mavatathanna, Varakathanna and Medavatta. The fall of an old banyan tree in Galahitiava, Madampe has caused traffic obstruction on the Puttalam-Colombo main road. Our correspondent further says that a minor flood situation has caused in Angammana and Gotigamu areas in the Ratnaburi district due to persistent rainfall. The Sri Lanka Army Disaster Management Relief Team has been deployed in speedy rescue operations. The upper catchment areas in the upper Kotmale Reservoir have resulted in an automatic opening of 3 sluice gates in the upper Kotmale Reservoir. Further heavy rainfall in the catchment areas could lead to an automatic opening of all sluice gates in the reservoir, causing an imminent threat to the lives of the people living in the lower Kotmale Oya region beyond the dam of the reservoir. The residents have been warned of an impending threat. The Department of Meteorology also says that the sea areas from Bana to Batiklo via Colombo, Galle and Porterville may return rough as a result of thunder showers accompanied with strong winds. The winds in the southwestern direction of the sea area surrounding the island could increase up to 30 to 40 kilometers per hour at times. The wind speed in the sea areas from Trincomalee to Porterville across Kankasanture, Mena, Puttalam, Colombo, Galle and Hambantota may also record an intermittent wind speed of 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Fishing craft stationed in the bridge front of Kandakolya in the Kalpitia Division Secretariat Division have been reopened safari areas with the lashing of sea waves in the coastal lines. Bodies of 3 members of same families who went on bathing the Duwa Moduraganga in Koskoda were recovered this evening. The victims were 62-year-old grandfather and 2 twins of his daughter who were students of grade 1.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has venerated the sacred Katharagama site last evening. The Prime Minister, upon arrival in Katharagama, has called on Chief Sanganayaka of the Ruhunu Magampattu and Chief Incumbent of Kirivihara Rajamaha Viharaya, Venerable Kobavaka Damminda Thera. Thereafter, the group, including the Prime Minister, Madam Shiranthi Vikramasinghe Rajapaksa, were engaged in religious observances at the Kirivihara. The group, including Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, has also engaged in religious observances at the Ashtapala Bodhi. The Mahasangha, headed by Chief Incumbent of the Kirivihara Viharaya and Chief Judicial Sanganayaka of Ruhunu Magampattua, Venerable Kapugama Sarana Thisathera, have chanted Setpirit and invoked blessings on the Prime Minister and citizens of the country. Thereafter, the Prime Minister has worshipped the historic Ruhunu Katharagama Devalaya and received blessings. Later on, the Prime Minister engaged in a discussion with the officials of the Urban Development Authority regarding speedy conclusion of the Sacred Area Development Project, with included setting up a vehicle parks and a road network. The Katharagama Asala Festival is to be scheduled to commence today. Basnaika Nilame, Dishan Gunasekara and Chairman of the Pradeshia Sabha, Amil Rangana, were also present at the occasion.
Moving to the local update of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Health says that the travel restrictions between provinces will remain unchanged for a further 14 days with effect from today. Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardana has issued a new set of revised health guidelines to be implemented from today by relaxing existing restrictions. Accordingly, sacred places of religious worship will be kept open. Permission has also been granted for the conducting of weddings. However, the number of guests should be restricted to 150 persons or covering only 25% of the seating capacity of the hall. According to the new guidelines, the common transportation system in the Western Province will continue to be implemented, subjected to a 30% coverage of seating capacity in vehicles. In other provinces, the seating capacity should be restricted to 50%. Permission has also been granted for the conducting of all examinations. In the event of a funeral, only 50 persons are granted permission to attend. The final rites of the remains will have to be conducted within 24 hours of the release of the bodies. Cinema halls and museums are permitted to function, covering only 50% of the seating capacity. Meanwhile, providers of matrimonial services have extended their gratitude over the permission to conduct marriage ceremonies according to health guidelines. Meanwhile, State Minister Professor ChannelEye Rupavahini says that a further batch of 2 million Sinopharm vaccines was scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka tomorrow. 5,136,573 doses of vaccines have been given so far. 48 have been given the second dose of the Covishield vaccine yesterday. 155,451 have been given the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine yesterday. The second dose of the vaccine has been given to 24,478. 1,284 persons have been inoculated with the Pfizer vaccine yesterday. 999,900 vaccine doses have been delivered in the past 7 days. 181,261 new vaccines were administered yesterday alone. Provision of the Pfizer vaccine to people over the age of 30 years among the fishing community in the coastal areas in Mana district is being conducted. Commencement of the inoculation of the residents in the Gramanidahari divisions in the Nallathandi Medical Officers Health Division. An internationally acclaimed digitalized COVID vaccination card was introduced yesterday. The event has taken place at the Ministry of Health under the leadership of Minister Namal Rajapaksa. Under the first stage of the program, the Sri Lankan contingent to the Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan were given the digital card. With the first digitalized COVID vaccination card was handed over to the Secretary of the Sri Lanka Gymnastic Team, Kapila Jevantha. Those who have received both doses of vaccine will be able to download the card from the website of Health Ministry in due course. The accuracy of the code system issued by the Sri Lankan government could be established from any location in the world. 1,515 COVID-19 patients were detected from the country today. Meanwhile, 1,804 patients left the hospital today following the complete recovery. Director General of Health Services said that 33 COVID deaths were reported yesterday. Measures have been taken to hand over to the medical faculty of the Sri Jayawardhanapura University 200,000 sets of testing equipment to speed up the process of rapid antigen testing to identify the COVID-19 disease. Ministers Keheli Rambukwella and Mahindanand Alutgamagi have participated in the Central Province COVID Control Committee meeting today to discuss the current situation on the vaccination program. General Manager of Railways Dhammika Jayasundara says that the number of train journeys in the Western Province will be increased to 100 from next Monday.
Now, Director General of Health Services Dr. Sela Gunawardena says that the distribution of vaccines is being conducted in an equal and fair manner without any discrimination towards an ethnicity or religion. He said that the country is also expected to receive 2 million doses of Sinopharm vaccines tomorrow.
Tomorrow we are expecting to receive another 2 million doses of Sinopharm vaccine. It will be distributed throughout the island. All these are as first dose of Sinopharm vaccine. The Pfizer vaccine which received to the Ministry of Health now starting giving to Mana district. The most of the fishermen community who has maybe getting mixed up in the sea during fishing, they can bring the Delta variant to Mana. Because of that, we have decided to give this Pfizer vaccine to that Mana district fishing community first, and the subsequent doses will be receiving on 13th and the end of this month. So those doses also will be going to Vavuniya and Mana district. The vaccination program solely depend on the number of cases as well as the number of deaths occurring in a particular district, and it doesn't depend on any ethnicity or religious factors or any geographical area factors. So this is purely on epidemiological data, and then only we decided to send the vaccine and number of vaccine. That's how we have giving more vaccines to the Western Province, where the more number of cases are coming up, and the next cases are in northwestern and the Sabaragamuwa. That's why we have given the priority to those two provinces next.
And meanwhile, the Deputy Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemantha Herath, says that the vaccination drive for the academic and non-academic staff of schools in the Western Province has been successfully conducted. He said that the vaccination drive will be expanded to other provinces with the availability of the vaccines.
The vaccination program for the teachers and other relevant staff, including the non-academic or non-teaching staff of the schools, have already begun. And especially in the Western Province, everybody above 30 years of age are being vaccinated. So most of them will be covered under that scheme as well. And in other places, gradually, depending on the availability of vaccine stocks, this will be carried out in different places to cover the teachers as well as the non-teaching staff of the schools, including those who are working in association with schools like the canteens and the security cleaning and similar categories of staff.
Now, Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says that the inoculation of the COVID-19 control vaccine on those engaged in the tourism sector is being conducted with effect from today. Now, the first stage of the program commenced from the Hambantota district this morning. The minister made these remarks addressing an event in which Minister Namal Rajapaksa also participated.
Today we launch a massive vaccination drive aimed at vaccinating those engaged into the tourism sector, which is a vital part of Sri Lankan economy. Through this vaccination program, our aim is to vaccinate people employed in the tourism sector, such as hotel employees, drivers, guides and other services providers. This direct and indirect employees in the tourism sector used to bring an annual income of around $4 billion. This program aims to kickstart the tourism sector, which has been affected by COVID-19 and the Easter attack. I am fully confident that this vaccination program aimed at the tourism sector will help to ensure that the Sri Lankan is safe and secure country to travel. This program will be carried out in every city in the coming weeks, targeting stakeholders in the tourism industry. I am happy to state that the Sri Lankan government is taking all possible measures to ensure a COVID-19 free country as soon as possible. In line with that, the government has made arrangements to vaccinate 60% of the population by the end of this year. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our President, His Excellency the Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa giving us their fullest support.
Now, more local stories. Police media spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana says that 234 persons have been arrested on charges of violating health guidelines during the 24 hours that ended at 6 a.m. today. 49,042 have been taken into custody in connection with the offence.
234 suspects have been arrested in connection with the offences of quarantine rules and regulations within a period of last 24 hours. Total number of 49,042 suspects have been arrested in connection with the same offences from the 30th of October 2020 to date. We are conducting constant quarantine operations across the country. Especially our attention has been drawn to the movements of general public in customer centres and shopping complexes. And in addition to that, we are going to deploy police officers in Mufti in public places in order to gather information about the movements of general public in public places and public transportation. All the time adhere with quarantine rules and regulation, respect the concept of social distancing and the concept of face mask.
Moving to the world update of the COVID-19 pandemic, Chief Scientist of the World Health Organization, Soumya Swaminathan, says that the number of infections has been rising across most regions of the world with the spread of the Delta variant of COVID-19. Dr. Swaminathan said that most parts of the world have been facing a shortage of medical oxygen, a lack of hospital beds and higher mortality rates, while the vaccination levels in some countries have been mitigating severe cases of infections and also the hospitalization. She said that in the last 24 hours, close to 500,000 new cases have been reported, about 9,300 deaths, which is not an indication for a declining pandemic. 5 out of 6 WHO regions have witnessed an increasing in the number of cases being reported. In Africa, mortality rate spikes by 30% in 40%, she mentioned. She also said that the fast-spreading COVID-19 Delta variant is the main reason behind increase in the infections, while the slow rate of vaccination rollout across the world, along the renewed relaxations of safety measures, likely mandatory wearing of face masks and physical distancing rules. And meanwhile, Minister Dr. Keheliya Rambukwala says that the government will not hesitate to act according to the law against any media institution which fails to obey the law of the country. He made these remarks after addressing a meeting in Kandy today. Responding to a query raised by a media person on the suspension of the broadcasting permit of Sirasa, Minister Dr. Keheliya Rambukwala said that it was completely inaccurate accusation. This was only a marketing stunt. The minister further said that he has discussed the issue with the leading lawyers, and it was pointed out that they will not be compelled to impose judged law in a channel did not act beyond the framework. The ceremony was held in connection with the handing over of Samurdhi scholarships to 185 students who have qualified in the GCE ordinate level examination in the Kundasala electorate.
Now, amalgamation of the new Kalani Bridge in Paliagoda has got underway today with the completion of the constructions along the banks of the river. Minister of Highways Johnston Fernando has presided over the ceremony held in this connection. The new Kalani Bridge is Sri Lanka's first concrete bridge constructed upon Varagan high-technology cables. The joining of the bridge constructed on the two sides of the river was carried out by filling concrete in the opening of the bridge. Minister Johnston Fernando, State Minister Nimal Lanza and a group of permanent representatives of the JICA Institute in Sri Lanka participated in the opening ceremony. It has been observed that there has been a substantial increase in the capacity of vehicles entering and leaving the city of Colombo through the Katunaika-Colombo Highway and the Colombo-Kandy Main Road. It has also been pointed out that the existing capacity in the Kalani Bridge is extremely inadequate to withstand such a large number of incoming and outgoing vehicles as well. As a result, plans were devised on the new Kalani Bridge project in the year 2014. The then President Mahinda Rajapaksa signed agreements in the implementation of the project. Accordingly, the bridge construction has been conducted under two stages. The main concrete bridge erected over the Kalani River is 380 meters long. The total expenditure on the construction was over 9,800 million rupees. The second stage of the construction will be in the form of a bridge made of steel. It will lead to the harbour entrance road via Kalani Thissa roundabout and across the Orugudavatta and Ingurukade junctions. The total cost of construction on this part of the project is more than 31,500 million rupees. The joint bridge project commences from the Colombo end of the Katunaika Expressway and is comprised of 6 lanes up to the Kalani Thissa roundabout. From there on up to Orugudavatta and Ingurukade junctions, there are 4 lanes in the bridge highway. The Ministry of Highways says that the entire project is expected to be completed by September this year.
And with that, we conclude tonight news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe. Good night.